My goal in life is to produce love for God and hate for government.
All right, welcome once again to another installment of Peace Freaks. I am, as always, your host, Nikki P, here with my lovely wife and co-host, Lizzie. How we doing there, babe?
I'm doing great. This is different because I am here with you. I'm not technically in our downstairs studio with you at the moment, which is odd.
I know, big man needed big space, and I just said, fuck it, get out of here, all of you.
And so I've opened my office with my yarn and my dress forms, and gonna have to studio it up in here a little bit at some point. But yeah, we're here. Welcome to Peace Freaks.
Nice. But we have episode number 88 here, and we've got a fun one ahead of you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to belabor a whole lot of talking in this episode before the show, because we had way too much content. There's too much conversation, and I'm gonna probably have to cut an hour out of that to just make it fit. But it was a lot of fun. So let's get the work out of the gates here. So if you like what you hear, be sure to stop on over to peacefreaks.com. Either spelling works, and if you want to help out the show, you can stop on over to upgradetheshow.com, where you can make donations or join our supporter club, which has a bunch of benefits for you. I think that's the hard work. Why don't we get right into it today, Liz?
Yeah, let's do it.
We have an interview here with Mr. Dane Tournay. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Of the Veterans for Voluntarism. Another one of those dudes.
Yes, they're good guys. I like them. They're good stock, as they would say. I'm amazed how quickly she managed to get from the basement to the upstairs.
I mean, she's got those young legs.
She wants to be on camera so bad.
All right, cameras.
Folks. We'll jump into our first song, and after that, you know what comes up. There's our interview. So let's get into it.
All right.
Welcome to Peace Freaks.
Peace Freaks.
Are you going to sing it every time now, Liz?
I don't know, I might.
Okay, that's fine if you do.
I vote yes.
It's involuntary at this point.
Okay. We are here with Dane from the Veterans for Voluntarism podcast. How are you doing today, Dane?
I'm really good, man.
Yay.
I'm happy to be here.
He's like, I'm kind of awake. I don't really want to be, but... it is.
I did have a rough weekend.
So. Yeah,
and he means that. Oh, we won't say what he means by that because it was just going to be awful.
Okay.
You just think of a rough weekend, and you can do the math on what that means.
I guess.
Wink, wink.
Yep.
He's one of the few guests that's actually doing straight video with us right here. So
yeah, we don't usually do video. So we had Jordan on. Frankly, it feels like a couple days ago, but when this comes out, it'll have been a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And we were talking kind of about our situation here in life, and we are, I don't know, as much as we can be unschoolers, I guess, in Ohio.
Sure.
We're kind of doing that whole thing. And it's an interesting place to, I guess, do what we do openly. It's not hard to find my name. We'll just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And be parents. And he said hey, you should talk to Dane. He's a guy who has opinions on things like that and kind of does stuff along that lines. I'm like, I'll talk to anybody. That sounds cool. As long as he doesn't like crappy music. You don't like crappy music, do you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nice.
We could debate that. I might.
I mean, here, the easy way to discern this is, what are your thoughts on Five Finger Death Punch?
I don't like them.
Okay.
Good, as that could end.
I used to.
Oh,
I
God.
used to.
How?
I was young. It was like 10, 12 years ago.
They were a band 10 to 12 years ago, and they still
'cause
suck. Still suck that much.
We went to one of their concerts at the House of Blues out in San Diego,
Oh wow.
and like all my higher ups had a private booth, and they got to hang out with them afterwards.
Oh God.
And they let us all go up there, so I was getting wasted with lieutenants and staff sergeants, which never happened. And I don't even remember the concert. I blacked out. I tried to go in the mosh pit. I got one foot in it, got punched in the face, and I lost my shoe.
Oh.
I have had all of the above happen, and I think that's a telltale sign of a good concert.
I was gonna say, at least it sounds like a good night, I guess.
That's in fact how you know it was a good night.
Oh my God.
But all their music sounds the same. It's just really fast paced and doesn't do anything.
Is
for
it
me
even
anymore.
fast paced?
The guitars just seem like the same thing over and over.
They
again.
are that. I will grant you that. But like, when you listen to fucking shit that's all 200 BPMs anyway, it's like whatever.
I've only ever given the band a cursory listen, so.
I mean, they're not as bad as Bad Wolves,
Oh God.
which is like a band I think that they produced. They were famous because they had that cover of the song Zombie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
definitely heard
remember
that. And then I actually looked into that band because it's like a Doctor Who reference, or I thought it was. And yeah, no, not.
I mean,
worth
it might have been, but it's
Yeah.
still bad.
Yeah.
I don't listen to them either. Turns out we can be friends.
Yay.
Yes, good. So you're in the podcasting game. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in this whole thing?
Try to make long story short. I grew up. All I ever wanted to do was be in the military. That's all I ever wanted to do, and I wanted to do it for my entire life. And after I got there, I realized that what we were doing was horribly wrong. And I've been out for 8 years this month, actually. And ever since I got out, it's just been eating me alive. And I was driving up to Iowa for a vacation, and I got this idea in my head.
I have to stop you there. You were going
Okay.
to Iowa for vacation.
Well, that's where my family's from.
Okay.
I was going to Iowa and Minnesota. And I had been working for.
I like cold weather, and neither of those seems like a vacation spot to me. So, but family's there. We got it.
It was great. I had 2 jobs for 9 months, and I ended up at the doctor's because of it.
Oh.
And when I quit, I had 12 days off, and that was more time than I had off for 9 months. So I was just happy to not be working for a
Okay.
while too. So
So when you're working 2 jobs, do you ever find that like the one that pays the least is such a good job to have? Like I always enjoy the second job because
my second job actually paid more than my first job.
that's
Oh.
crazy.
That's why I quit that one, and I just work at the bar now.
Okay, I was gonna say because like when I was working 2 jobs, like whichever one pays less, I'm like I don't care about that job. So I don't like if I go in and my boss yells at me, I just say fuck you and walk away.
Yeah.
And it's an important position to have in any company. It's just to be able to tell your boss to go fuck themselves.
I suppose.
I do agree with that, but I always find myself in the position where they rely on me, and I
Yeah.
care about
But is that your
the
problem?
business. So.
Why is that your problem?
That was what I was gonna say.
Are they going to do the same for you?
I had 3 jobs, and I never felt like I could just say "fuck off, dude."
Oh, it's the best.
They've been good to me. They always give me more money than I feel like I'm deserved a lot of times.
there you
too,
go.
so.
We were talking at work. I'm going to show up and be the worst employee ever.
Oh God.
I'm going to make my boss's life a living hell.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
For every time I've been woken up at 8 in the fucking morning to a question I don't have the answer to, making me feel like I'm going to lose my goddamn job if I don't tell him where the money is.
Okay,
This week, someone
okay.
was
Every time I
mentioning,
find myself in
God.
that spot, I leave immediately.
Yeah.
God, if I
I'm
won
not-
the
I'm
lottery,
not
like,
putting
of
myself
course I'm
through
showing
that.
up to work.
Okay.
You know?
I guess for me, I was looking at what I'm going to put them through and getting a sad schadenfreude about it,
Okay.
Whatever. I'm just not a nice person.
No, I worked at a gun store and the bar, so it was
Right on.
both were pretty fun.
You're not seeing this, folks, because this is an audio only podcast. But he looks like the kind of guy that works at the gun store.
Yes.
So you've been out 8 years. You're a bartender, and It's according to Jordan, you have like a family and stuff, or you have kids and.
I do, yeah. Do you want me to finish up how it all started?
Yes, let's do
sure,
that.
Sure.
Had an ADD moment.
Yeah,
forgot
I do
about.
that. Well, I also
the
feel like
story.
Well, I feel like I'm filling in the blanks because we've also heard it from Jordan's angle too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't heard what you guys talked about yet, but
Me neither.
anyways, I was on my way up, and it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and like I said, it's been eating me alive for 8 years. And I was like, what can I do to help change people's minds? I was like, Jordan and Jake are the best guys to talk to. So my idea was to start like a website and get people to write for it. And Jordan sent me a sample of the podcast. He just talked for like 20 minutes because I didn't think that I could ever just do it by myself, but his sample was really good, and I was like, man, I could talk to you for an hour, So so we started the podcast, and it's been great. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback, which we didn't think was going to happen.
Which is funny because I'm like, God, if we could only have 1,000 of you guys making shows, it'd be better. Let's get 20,000, 1,000,000. I think it's terrible that there could possibly be that many of you out there in the first place, that we would have fucking set you over to do dumb shit. But I'd rather you come back with your eyes open than, hoorah.
Yes, which is not for most of us.
So is it honestly something that you thought people weren't going to, like, there weren't going to be more of you? Because to me, it seems like there's so fucking many of you. And the fact of the matter is nobody donated more, or nobody has donated more to libertarian causes than active duty military.
Yeah, so after I got out, I entirely secluded myself from society. I didn't even have internet. I was on 120 acres up in northern Minnesota. And so I wasn't connected with anybody. And I thought I was the only one going through these weird questions that I had throughout my time. And that's when I started trying to answer them. So I was just in hell for a few years,
See, I'm imagining you running through the woods in the middle of the night screaming. Like, I'm sorry, I turned your life into Rambo.
Yeah. No, I'm not nearly Rambo, but growing up in the Midwest, everybody's for it.
Yeah.
It's the culture.
Yeah.
Even in the church. So it's like, and if you question it, everybody just just screams at you, basically. Gets angry.
I mean, I guess my question is how do they question the soldier? Like, how do you do that? It doesn't even make sense to me. Well, you have more of a real world understanding of this than any of them could ever have. They just they just armchair quarterback, think they know better, and they is it the damaged goods thing?
It's so many of us have so much blood in it at this point. Yeah. Throughout years and years, our grandparents, our dads, our kids, we've all gone and done something for it. So if all of a sudden somebody's questioning it, all of a sudden they have to, it's like questioning if your kid died for nothing, if your buddy got killed for nothing.
It's a really easy answer. Yes, they all did, and the best thing we can do is stop letting that happen.
Right. So it is a very easy answer, but it's a very hard thing to question.
Yeah. It wouldn't be an easy answer to hear either.
Tough titties, life sucks, then you die. Or if my dad's were, life's a bitch, then you marry one. I've proven him wrong.
Good.
Well, that's like my whole dad side of the family. They're all military. So it's like, even though he would have voted for Ross Perot, like straight up, he's still enlisted. Like he's still, and he still looks up to his brother, who's totally like that
Bought
guy. In. Yeah.
Coincidentally, my dad's half brother was in the Air Force and ended up getting out as a lieutenant colonel.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he did his 20 years, got out, became an artist. He's a libertarian.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he voted Gary Johnson in the last election.
Gary Johnson.
I find I mean, I guess maybe it's just because of the world that I'm in. Like I just see most of the people coming back from that saying, fuck this was a bad idea, we need to stop doing it.
I think a lot of why I didn't is because nobody that I was with has turned to the good side.
Okay.
Of my knowledge anyways.
How do you feel about that? I mean, is it what you guys did over there that's different than others, or the setting is different for you than it was? Or is a lot of it just, those guys came back and moved back to Pennsylvania and hung out with all the same dumb drunks that they were hanging out with before? And
probably. I don't know. It's a hard thing to answer. Our deployments were fairly easy, so I don't want to paint the wrong picture for anybody.
Okay.
But, you go in, you don't know if you're going to come back, and everybody wants to just go kill people. And that's just drilled into you day and day, for for years. And then I think when you get out, everybody thanks you and buys you drinks and you're a hero. And I don't know, it's easier to just ignore any question that you had and just go along with that.
See, and to me, and this is just me. Like, even the idea of being complimented at all feels weird to me, let alone being complimented for something that involves guns. So
guns are awesome.
and you know what? I try and keep as many of you guys around in my friend circle as I can. I'm not a guns person. I never have been. I just like to know where they're at because eventually I'm going to need someone that has them.
You should get one.
I know. If I had money, I'd be more into it. Like I'd go out to the range and stuff. I feel like that's very Texas. Be a chick who knows how to shoot a gun.
I guess we don't live in Texas.
I know, but you can take the girl out of Texas, but you can't take the Texas out of the.
I'm gonna try and pretend that you haven't spent more of your life in Cleveland, and so if we're gonna do this right, we have to like get divorced so that you can like I don't know have a baby daddy and drive around with an unregistered gun that you bought from a gang member.
Is that somehow more authentic?
It's authentically Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Where you have spent more of your life at this point.
I see. Okay, fair enough.
Come on, you know how East Cleveland works.
I don't know how.
I'm telling you this much.
I've never been to Cleveland.
It's one of the most racially segregated cities that you could ever go to, for one. I could literally break it down block by block what skin color people are.
Because he's done a job for the past, 5 years? That's basically just driving around town.
Oh, no, Liz. I think I'm up to 7 years at this job.
Are you really?
I worked for the company for 7 years.
Freaking Mike.
That's why I'm kind of excited to not be working there as much.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Say hi.
You are beautiful.
Say thanks.
I like your hair.
He says he likes your hair. Thanks. Can I help you?
How many kids do you guys have?
We have just the one.
Just the one. How old are you?
How old are you?
5.
Oh, well, there you
5.
go.
I got a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Aww.
And she says 5, but she'll be 6 in 2 months. So.
Okay, well, I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. When's her birthday?
Is it March? I think that's what it is. Yeah, she missed Grandpa's by 2 days.
Yeah.
We really thought we were going to hit it.
I went into labor. It just did not happen.
Yep.
Oh, really?
4 days.
And I wasn't taking any meds for that first 3, so there you go.
Yeah, we had the ideas of a home birth, and what is it? You hit 9 centimeters
twice
in there.
I don't know. By then I was just out of my gourd.
Yeah, by day 3, I'm like, honey, I know that you planned on doing this here, but it apparently isn't gonna fucking happen. So I'm pulling the executive order and we're going to the fucking doctors.
There you go.
I'll call up the doula and we'll go with that. But and so we take her to the doctors, and I mean, I don't even know if you remember any of this really, but she hit 9 centimeters again.
Oh yeah, after the epidural.
On the epidural.
Yeah.
And that's as far as she ever got.
Yeah. What do you?
And so we end up having to cut the fucking thing out of her, anyways.
The fucking thing. Our beautiful baby daughter.
That's what happened with both my kids.
I saw her in the guts, honey. So
okay,
you can
all right.
say yeah,
That's
she turned
fine.
out
Your
beautiful.
prerogative.
At that point in time,
That's
she was
fine.
a thing covered in blood that tried to rip my chest hair out.
Okay, fair enough.
The first time I was like, "Can I watch?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead."
Okay.
I just stood up and watched them cut them out. And then the second time I asked, and they're like, "No, you just gotta sit here."
Yeah, they were not gonna
Okay.
let me. They were not letting me watch. Like I was in the room when it happened. I held her hand, and they had it all behind like the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I think with me, they're probably just concerned that if I fainted, it was going to be a problem having that large, massive person.
I mean, and you were always the best with the not fainting. as
No, I
far
was
as
not. I've
that
done it.
Goes so there you go.
But yeah, it was an intense experience. And after all that whole thing, she talks to like one
My
of her
grandmother, I think.
Oh yeah, we all have C-sections, you know.
Talked to my aunts. Like none of them have ever.
I think
been
they're
able to
just
dilate properly and all that.
Yeah,
jazz.
so-
I'm like, well,
so
thanks,
like-
That would have
guys.
been nice to know.
Right? Information I could have used. Like, I don't know, a week ago, whatever.
maybe before we spent 6 months planning for a home birth and
Silly thing.
I won't say it was bad in that having the doula there, the midwife, to kind of walk us through what to expect in the hospital was definitely a big deal. And especially from like a libertarian perspective.
Were we even libertarians at that point?
Look, Liz, I've always been.
I know. You've always been an anarchist. Don't tell me what to do, old man.
Yeah.
Minnesota was horrible to have a kid in.
Really?
They were horrible.
We in every respect, we just fucking lucked out. Like, it's pretty bad here, and we just happened to. We had like a really good surgeon who couldn't have couldn't have the job that he would normally have because he was in like a non-compete clause, and he left the hospital he was with, so he was just kind of doing what he could to get by.
Yeah.
And so we had this crazy good surgeon doing a job that was frankly way beneath him. He was nice.
Really?
He was a really, really nice guy, totally cool and chill and everything. And so he was really easy to deal with. I almost got in a fight with a nurse, but that's another matter entirely.
What was tough about having a baby in Minnesota?
Well, you guys have heard of the heel prick test, right?
Yeah.
So there was a doctor that came out and exposed that Minnesota was keeping half the samples. The state was keeping half the samples indefinitely to run tests on like violent behavior, and there's like a list of 52 things that they check.
That's freaking terrifying.
Yes, and and they keep your DNA forever,
right?
And it helped like less than 1% of kids born in the entire state. So I was like, all right, we're not doing that. And they brought a piece of paper that I had to fill out telling me how dangerous it was to not let them take my son's blood. And it really scares you. They're like, it has to be done within the first 24 hours.
I remember.
Or something bad's gonna happen.
Right.
You're gonna feel like a horrible person. And we were pretty broke at that point. So like I worked the day my son was born. I got to be there while he was born, but he was born at like midnight. And then I woke up and went to work. And I told my wife, hey, if they come in here, tell them they have to talk to me. So she did. And the nurses kept coming in and trying to get her.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And the doctor even came in to talk to her. And she's like, like I told you, you have to talk to my husband. And then I had one nurse come in and try to get me to do it one more time. And I was like, no, like it doesn't really help the kids anyways. And I know what they're doing with, I don't remember what I said, but she just started yelling. And she's like, they don't do that anymore. She stormed out of the room. And the only thing I can think of is that the hospitals get paid for X amount of percentage,
or
X amount of blood work that they get put in. And it directly affects their money, because why would they be that emotionally
right? Why would you care?
Mm-hmm. And then in Texas here, I'm sure the same thing happens, but I live in Fort Worth. There was 20 other people there having babies that day. So the amount that I don't think they care that much, but they had to send somebody in to talk to us, and we're like, yeah, we know, we did it with our son too. And by law, you are forced to get the heel prick test unless it's a religious exemption.
Yeah.
So we had to fill out a paper for a religious exemption. And the nurse doing it, she was like, I've worked here for 27 years. You guys are the first people who have ever refused the blood test.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not even remotely surprised.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the things that I liked the most about having the midwife, is that she kind of opened our eyes to the process of everything that happens in there and why things happen in there. Which is also why they have so many problems. Like, they love C-sections because, man, let's get you the fuck in here and get you out. Doesn't matter if it's not as safe.
And we can schedule it so we know what time it's going to happen.
Right.
Yep, because like you said, we've got 20 other people waiting to get in here.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's why I got in a fight with a nurse, was because they were trying to after all, like 4 days of labor, and, they put Liz on the shot, and then has some reasons for like having wanted to control the birth a little bit, was why she wanted to do a home birth. And essentially she's just been told, look, there's no way that this is going to happen. You're just going to have to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, there's no emergency. Baby's fine. You're not in any trouble.
Right.
But, we're going to have to do it. I'll give you some minutes to kind of deal with things and process.
And I am a processing person.
Yeah, she needed some time. A couple minutes. No sooner than he walks out the fucking door, the nurse walks in and tries to force us out of the room and like get her on a fucking gurney. And I'm like, you get the fuck out of here. Like, you don't understand what this is doing to my wife right now. I'll get you when I'm fucking ready. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
Guess what? Those people are still going to be pregnant when we fucking leave. So it's not going to make any goddamn difference. If you want to put somebody else in that room, go for it. There's no emergency. The baby's fine. The doctor just fucking told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
And
it
came real close. I was about to knock that bitch out.
The only time we got in an argument with the doctor at all was she's like, "Oh, the vaccine for my wife." It was unexpected that they were trying to give to her when we went to see her one day, and I was like, "Well, let's think about that for a second." She's like, "It's recommended by every doctor," and blah 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 blah. And
Great, don't care.
kind of stormed out, but that was the only time.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing.
The rest of the time, it was really good.
I may have even fought less with a doctor,
Yeah.
but some uppity fucking nurse is not gonna fucking pressure me into doing shit. Your fucking 2 weeks at community college don't mean shit to me, lady.
Well, I mean, they're all very, well trained to be the authority. That's their job. It's like, okay, we tell you that we have the knowledge of modern medicine behind us, and you're just supposed to do what we say.
Great, I have 140 IQ and I know bullshit when I hear it. Get the fuck out of my way.
Well, yeah.
And I think a lot of it is they never get questioned.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And that's exactly it. And that was the one thing the nurse or the doula or midwife gave us was, you can question.
Yeah.
They legally can't do anything. Like, you control that situation as much as you can. And we did.
Yeah.
You know? So.
When I was leaving the hospital in Minnesota, they tried to get me to tell them how many miles I had on my car.
What? That's weird.
And they were so sick of me by the end of it that she just stormed off too. I was like, what do you mean? Like, how is that any of your business? Like,
I will give them. They did try anything like that. Like they were very insistent on a lot of the shit they wanted to do. I mean, in general, we're not anti-vaxxers, so I think we have less issues with them than most people do. I think we've asked about like scheduling is the only thing that we've ever concerned.
Yeah, I've put off as much as I possibly could until my baby was as old as I could possibly, But
I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I'm anti all the vaxes they try to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If that makes sense. So like we've declined a number of them.
Yeah.
It's like that.
You're never putting a flu
doctors
vaccine
and they've
in me.
said
No.
Nope.
Yeah, there's no point to that.
We're really good friends with some doctors down here, and they've suggested other doctors to research and then make our own calculated decisions on it. So, and those are doctors that I trust.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the big thing, I mean, my issue with that is, like, I don't think that all medical science is bunk. Like, that's fucking stupid. But I do think that there are vested interest in why we do things. Moreover, I think the fucking vaccine fund is the most ridiculous thing that's ever existed in the world. And the fact that you can't sue a fucking company that kills you. Like, that's bonkers.
Right.
That's where there's problems. And if I cannot play in that situation, I'd rather not play in that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you said you got a 6-year-old. How has that been? Are any of your children schooled in school now, or are you keeping them out?
We use the Ron Paul home school.
Oh, snap. How is that?
Amazing.
Is it really?
It really is.
I'm
it's awesome.
Super curious. And like he said, like our daughter is getting to be about that age. So,
Yeah, some dude was just posting about it on Twitter last night and said that anyone that would let their kids
that dude's an idiot.
Use it deserves to have their kids taken away.
That was on Jordan. That was a comment on Jordan's post.
That's right. It was a comment on Jordan's post.
Isn't that special?
If I ever see Sam Carpenter,
libertarian memes for
neoliberal
teens.
Yeah, if I ever see Sam Carpenter, I will. I'm not going to say on mic.
Yeah, how about you don't do that?
Look, there's already me threatening John McCain on mic. I don't need to have Sam Carpenter on mic.
John McCain's not alive anymore, is he?
I know.
Oh, okay.
So, and I didn't give him cancer. So pretty safe on that one.
Okay. Dodged a bullet there.
Kind of. I think all the...
It's pretty inexpensive, and it does a very, very good job.
Even with the young kids, because that was the one criticism I heard, or I was told, is that there's not much for the really young kids. I can tell about
really young kids. It is kind of hard, so we do stuff on top of that. But really, what we're using it for right now is math and reading.
Okay.
And like he's spelling words that I don't know if all 6-year-olds can spell as good as he can, or if it's just he's the only one I'm around, so I'm blown away by it. But he's reading books by himself now, and he can do math problems that are like 158 plus 270.
Nice.
I think it's a homeschool thing. I tell my response to anyone who has questions is, look, when people start telling me my kid's not, when people stop telling me how smart my kid is, I'll consider putting her in school. It ain't happened yet, so Oh my
Right.
God, she's so smart for her age. Yeah, because we let her be smart. We don't fucking dumb her down and force her to sit still for 8 hours a goddamn day.
Which she would not do. So.
Right. Yeah.
God, she'd be
We
unriddled.
do it in like 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
And then we all go to the gym. So on the way to the gym, we go over his spelling words. Before we can listen to backwards, we make him spell.
Nice. This is not how you spell backwards, by the way. Just so you know.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Um.
So we work with him a lot outside of what he does in front of the computer. And then we have a bunch of science experiments, and we've used Kiwi Crate a little bit to build stuff with him. And then throughout the day, I just try to get him to do things that help him in life, like making phone calls.
Okay.
We never go to the gym on the weekend, so we didn't know when the kids club was open. So I made him call the gym and ask him.
Nice.
And get him sociable, because that's what I get hit with all the time. It just makes me laugh.
Oh God.
It's like everywhere we go, he's by far the most socialized kid there
Those
is.
8 hours a day, they tell you to not fucking move. Getting real social there. You talk to the kid next to you, you're gonna get put in a special class.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, and I look at him like I find it ridiculous, because I think that mindset needs to change.
Well, for me, and Liz was homeschooled her whole life for the most part. Like, she was always homeschooled, and I did very well in public school, but the trade-off is I fucking hated school when it was all said and done with it. And I was a kid who loved learning, and I loved reading, and like just all the information you could get into me, and it took years to kind of get all of the damage that school did to me to get me back to a place where I enjoy learning. And I don't ever want my kid to fucking deal with that. Like, to think school is a fucking chore. Learning is something you should enjoy doing. Like,
that's kind of what hit with me is when I went to live in the woods. I realized that I actually really liked learning when I started, researching all the questions I had. And I was like, because I hated school. Like, I graduated, my ranking was like 84 out of 87 of my graduating class, and I'm not stupid. I just hated it. I found pointless. And I found that I loved learning. And so I was like, wait a minute. Started connecting dots.
Yeah, right.
Like, public education sucks.
Well, but in my own experience, and it was not that. I was a very good student. I was good because I'm smart and it was easy. But, the only reason I didn't make National Honor Society is because
you pissed off the wrong teacher.
I pissed off the wrong teachers by doing kids' homework for them to make money.
Oh, nice.
Right? So, cottage industry there.
But even, like, as someone who was good at school, I still ended up in the same fucking place. Like, I made me hate school. It made me hate learning. And that's just fucking awful.
There you go.
And it really makes it cool to not enjoy it.
Well,
oh yeah.
I don't think that's school that does that though. I mean, the media is complicit in that. Look at the fucking way nerds or people that want to learn are treated in any TV show.
Yeah.
Like Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
The coolest guy is the stupid one, the older brother Eric.
Right.
And then is it Meeks? It's something weird.
Oh,
that nerdy kid.
Minkus.
Yeah, Minkus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very not cool.
I mean, even Topanga was treated,
like she was weird because she was
Yeah,
interested
she was
in learning
fucking,
stuff.
you know.
Yes, we all know.
Yeah.
We all know. It's okay. It's okay. She's a
I get it.
pretty lady.
I get it.
We get it.
I know it's awful is that, like, later on in life, like, if you've ever seen any of the roles that she did after that, she played Bimbo.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that,
I've never seen her in anything else.
she did a couple of, like, National Lampoon's movies, I think.
Okay.
And
Just tried to lean into that and it didn't work.
I just think that there was nothing else for her. I mean, and at least you've got your fucking looks. You're a big-titted woman, so go play big-titted woman in the movies.
Okay.
I mean, sadly, that's usually what it is for child actors. None of them fucking do anything.
Well, and that is, I think, why Disney has the stranglehold that they have, because you can just stay in that machine, and then when they do Girl Meets World, they called her up.
They did.
Yeah,
she played that part for so long.
Yeah.
It'd be hard for her to do anything else.
Sad but true.
I mean, she plays Bimbo really good, but that doesn't take much. And I do feel like this is kind of beneath what you're capable of, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to play Bimbo. You played
What are
the
you gonna
smart kid. I don't know what you're gonna do. You're not gonna be a famous actor. I'll tell you that much.
Hmm. I mean, even Kat Dennings, like, she's playing second fiddle to Natalie Portman in Thor. What's that about?
I don't know, but
I know. We know. It's okay. It's okay.
what do you see with you bringing up all these busty women and
She's gonna have her own series, actually.
grinding my gears right now?
Disney's throwing her bones, but we'll see how that goes.
I can tell you all about throwing bones, Liz.
Oh, for the love of Pete! All right.
Look, you're the one that's bringing them up.
So, I feel like there's
Throwing
a track
bones.
we should
Wow.
be on.
I'm actually. How's it going? This is Nikki P, and I wanted to thank you for stopping by our neck of the woods. I sure hope you enjoyed listening to Peace Freaks as much as we enjoy making it. Now, as much fun as it is right now, I know it can be a lot more fun, and the way to make it more fun is to grow that community. Unfortunately for us, growing anything organically on the internet is a thing of the past, and as much as I'd like to dump Irma's college fund into growing the show, that would make me a bad parent. So if you want to help create a bigger, more badass community, stop by upgradetheshow.com. We have monthly and yearly fiat options and one-time and yearly crypto options. But don't go thinking an upgraded community is all you're going to get. All patrons of the show get access to the Freedom Choir, chock full of bonus shows, and our Zoom link to watch our interviews live. So head over to upgradetheshow.com and help us upgrade this freaky little community. So I'm actually kind of curious. One of my parents got my fucking daughter started on this shit. If it had been up to me, she'd have never even known it existed.
Oh God, the Disney
Yeah.
Disney Channel stuff.
Do you deal with the Disney thing at all?
Is it different with the boy?
We try to stay away from TV,
Okay,
but
so that's
I
the
don't know.
problem. We got the TV. That was the problem.
I've suggested getting rid of it multiple
I've thought
times,
about it. I
but
really have. Just throw it up on Facebook, make it go away. It's hard to do though.
It's hard when I'm up until 5 a.m. and my kid wakes up at 7.
Yes.
And my wife's at work and he's like, "Hey, wake up, play with me." I'm like, "Dude, I've been asleep for 2 hours. So, you need to give me a little bit of time before I wake up."
And there is a degree to this because, like, the past couple years, my job essentially, I work noon to 8 o'clock at night. You go to bed at 7 because you
Right.
get up to work at 4, and depending on when I can get her to sleep. I mean, there's just time in there where one of us is asleep and she's got to do something.
Kinda.
But there's also, when you're working over the
Over
The
Christmas,
holidays
it's
is
freaking bonkers.
yeah, you're working 12 hours a day and I work a normal job.
Yeah.
Have you guys find it really hard to set up your life so you could homeschool?
I mean, it took preparation. Like,
Yeah,
it
it took some doing.
like literally having to get things in order in your life to be able to do it. Like she works for UPS where she goes in the middle of the night.
Right. And then I'm home and then I can be mom all day.
When I leave to go to work,
Right.
whatnot. Ultimately, we're trying to get more of a
Yeah.
we handle our own shit at home kind of work, but it's a struggle trying to
Mhm.
deal with that kind of stuff. And on top of that, like, I'm really into the podcasting game,
Yeah.
so I spend a lot of time dealing with this. I've got 4 active podcasts I produce right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's actually one of them is how I know you guys, because one of the podcasts I do is This Week in Liver Pods.
It's just a podcast about podcasts.
It's a podcast of mine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Which my production value has gone up on, so I'm excited about that.
Well, you're learning skills and there's so much personal growth, and the podcast community has been huge for us because I'm kind of an introvert, and if I didn't force myself to talk to people because I'm on a podcast, it wouldn't happen.
Oh, dude,
So,
if you'd have seen her 2
Mhm.
years ago when we started,
yeah,
like, she wouldn't have said anything to you yet in the conversation.
I would have been like, "Hi."
It'd have been hi, and then
It's very awkward at first,
Right?
especially with Jordan and I, because Jake came in later, and Jordan and I were got it going at first with the podcast, and we couldn't see each other
Oh,
for one, and he's up in Iowa and I'm down here in Texas, so it was just kind of talking to a blank screen, and it's just it takes some time to get used to it and feel comfortable with it.
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I'm a musician, so like,
Yeah.
there's a
And you
certain-
took broadcasting in college, in university,
I didn't do any broadcasting in university and college.
but you wrote a paper about podcasting
I did.
in 2006 or something.
God, I wish I'd have fucking followed through on that. God,
You'd be filthy rich.
I don't know about filthy rich, but I could be doing something with it.
I get. Well, I mean, you are doing something with it, but
Yeah, I know.
you're doing something else with it, I guess.
So I'm curious. You have had a change. Obviously, you spent your whole life wanting to be a soldier, and you get in and you say, "Fuck this shit."
Yeah, turns out killing people for the government doesn't produce freedom, which I didn't know before, but it's true.
I mean, it seems like the math wouldn't make sense to me, but to each their own. They make it.
When you grow up in the Midwest and everybody's for it, and that's what they tell
Yeah.
you, and then you go to public education, it's never questioned. You don't learn how to ask questions.
Also that.
See, and that was never. And I grew up in like a rural area. Like you're very much like my little brother and his friends. Like they're country boys, you know. Half of his friends went off, and many of them didn't come back. I've seen those funerals before, and I just was never me. I can say this much: a lot of my little brother's friends who came back, a lot of them came back the same way. Like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was doing over there, and I even know a couple of guys that are still in that I don't know how they managed to justify it to themselves. I think it's just once you're so invested, it's just like finish it the fuck out. So, do you have any intention of your kids ever going to public school?
Oh no. Nope. If they tried to make me, like if that ever became a thing where you'd be forced into public education, I'd try to leave.
Okay. Where do you think you'd go?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't afford to leave anyways, but my brain would start working in that direction.
So. How messed up is it that you have to pay to like leave? How sad is that? That's kind of crazy.
It's really crazy, and most people never think about it. So
by the time you need to do it, you're like, wait, I have to pay to do it?
I mean, technically, you don't have to pay to leave. You have to pay to stop sending them tax money.
Oh, okay.
You can go wherever the fuck you want to go, but they're going to try and claim whatever income.
Right.
And technically, they can't really do much about it unless you try and come back in the States. Which, you have family, so inevitably you're probably going to try to come back at some point. And that's how they get you. That's the same way the Amish do it. Dude, their retention rate's great.
Yeah.
And the reason is because
I don't even want my kids to go to college, honestly.
I mean, I would take it a step further and say if she could make really good money as a stripper and not get into drugs, I'm cool with that too. Whatever. But
I just want them to be entrepreneurs.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that definitely that they seem to preach about in the Ron Paul curriculum that I really do enjoy, which is the entrepreneur side of things.
Mm-hmm. We're nowhere near reaching that yet. We've just really started.
I imagine your 6-year-old hasn't started a business yet.
No, but we have the Tuttle Twin books, so we read those to him. So he's trying to put that into his brain.
We're a couple behind. I think we are.
We need it. We need to be reading those instead of letting her watch Descendants. Dang it.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm not the one who ever let her see the Descendants.
It happened while we were at Disney World. That's how that happened.
It's just for the record, I lobbied against
going
to Disney World. But again,
tons of people, really expensive.
It's a culture thing. Like, his parents really wanted to.
That's part of the deal. My parents wanted to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I told them I didn't want to do it. I didn't want her to do it. And so they basically made it all I had to do was get to Florida and get back. They pretty much covered everything in between. So.
Which it was, their memories, which were nice.
Whatever.
Now we got to figure out how to get her off the Disney tip.
Irma did have a really good time.
Should just go out to the mountains. just no TV.
I just want to go back to Pork Fest.
Pork Fest.
And
Pork Fest.
That's
I want to go.
That's probably the worst part about it is like because we went to this the same year we went to Pork Fest for the first time, and oh god, Pork Fest was the best.
Pork Fest was really cool.
I mean, we
highly recommend it.
We literally went up there. Irma found a friend, and then they just ran away. They said, "Come find us when you're."
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm trying to get going for V is that we go as a group to a few events a year.
You have to.
Yeah,
it's fun,
and to really connect with people and build the community, because that's really why I had the idea in the first place. But we might try to set something up in Iowa sometime too.
We're gonna see you guys at Childeberg, right?
Oh wait, that is in Texas. That's right.
When is that though?
May.
It's the same weekend as the Libertarian National Convention.
20.
Because I'm supposed to be moving in April.
It's a weekend of like May 20th, 21st,
somewhere in there. Yeah.
So I'll be gone.
Yeah.
Well,
potentially, I might still be here. I don't know.
It's Texas, man.
I'm trying to extend my lease for a few months just to build up some money before I go.
That
but
makes sense.
My landlord hasn't gotten a hold of me yet.
Terrible.
So I don't know what's going on.
I'm just saying, it's your neck of the woods. It's a libertarian gathering, and it's all the cool ones.
Yeah, I know it is. I am going to Washington D.C. with Bring Our Troops Home.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
With Dan McKnight.
Nice.
Is that a demonstration type thing?
So Dan McKnight's, yeah, they went this year or this past year. I forget how many people they had, but he was trying to get 50,000. And I'm not exactly sure his political beliefs, but I talked to him on the phone before we had him on the podcast. And I was like, hey, I just want to be very upfront so you know who you're coming on with. Like, we're anarchist vets, and that's so I was explaining to him that, and he said he thought we agreed on most things. So a lot of conservatives say that, but I don't. And I'm like, no, we don't. But I don't know his standings. But he is a great guy, and he's doing great things.
With Dan, I think you all agree on what's probably the most important thing, so it doesn't really matter. Like, well, you may not agree with him on much at all. You agree on this one very important point, and that's all that matters. Like, the fact that, he wants to make this bullshit stop is, whether or not he's an anarchist or not, whatever, we can all quibble about that when we stop sending boys off to die. There's just something that I love listening to, like, drunk vets talk shit. I don't know what it is. I love the Biting the Bullet podcast, and it's hilarious because I know that, like, you guys are all, like, aiming for vets as your demographic, and I just love the shit. And maybe I think for me, there's like a homey feel to it. It's like, just a bunch of dumb fucking rednecks talking about dumb shit.
Whoa, wait,
was that a backhanded compliment?
No,
it felt like
it's not. I promise.
Okay.
Look, don't take it personally. Everyone's dumb. Like, that's just my curse.
Okay.
No, I'm not offended by that. That's fine.
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm gonna be honest.
Cool. The whole redneck thing, just kind of dumb comes before it. I think it's a culture thing. I didn't even think about saying it. It's just like, dumb rednecks, whatever. I don't. You guys.
They're a lot of fun. We talk to those guys quite often.
They lean pretty hard into the dumb part of things. Just to be clear.
Okay. I enjoy their show.
They're not as dumb as I think they let people on to believe, but as with Dave Smith, it's like, I'm a dumb comedian and I get this. Why the fuck doesn't the mainstream media get it?
There's that.
Well, I'm kind of curious, as somebody who's does the podcasting thing, how long do you plan on doing this? Like, what's your end goal? Do you have do you see an end point when it's not going to have any value to you anymore?
Once Ancapistan exists, I guess I can quit.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I guess I'd go for it until I created, or not me, but until we actually had freedom, right? Without the state really being a huge part of our lives. At that point, I don't know. Like, why would I do it at that point?
Yeah.
But I do love it, and I don't plan on not.
Well, what I would say is, people thought the commies lost too, and look where we're at. So apparently, there's something to be said about continuing to preach to preach liberty as a primary value. Because if you don't, the commies take over.
And I guess I only said that because at that point, I don't know if it'd be any value talking about it. But if there's still value, I think I'd still do it.
I expect nothing in my lifetime. I expect that I would classify myself as an evolutionary ANCAP. I think we've got a long ways to go before human beings evolve to a point where we can have ANCAPistan. The fact of the matter is where we're at now. But this is all part and parcel. Like, to me, the state is religion, and people haven't evolved past religion yet. I expect that someday that will happen. I realize that you both are not in the same boat as I am on that, and that's fine.
Okay.
All three of us are on my podcast. All three of us are Christians.
Yeah, no,
I
think I remember Jordan mentioning that. Or actually, I think he might have mentioned it on on Pete's podcast. It came up, which was a great interview. It was really good listening to you guys talk with him.
Thank you. Yeah, so my goal in life is to produce love for God and hate for government. If I can do that for the rest of my life, I'm good with it.
And to be fair, I think you could get behind at least most of that. Because if we get
he's making that face where I think he's angry.
If we get that far, see, to me, it's like if we get that far, then you can quibble about the rest. Once we're in Ancapistan, you can have the atheist part over there and the Christian part over there. But like, let's just all
atheists and Christians get along all the time.
Support getting there.
Oh, I know.
A lot of my best friends are atheists.
But that's why I say, like, I'm not angry. Like, there's nothing to be angry about. I mean, it's from my perspective, it's like, okay, you choose to, waste your time. If you're a good person at the end of it, I guess I don't care. But
I would disagree.
But my perspective has always been, look, if my core value is to be a good person, and there is something up there, and I was a good person, and that's not good enough, then I don't know. Don't see what the point of any of this was.
So all fun dynamic because I'm about kind of letting people be themselves, and like I like hearing people's stories and talking about all the things. So we just do a lot of talking about all of this stuff all the time and agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm. I like the show being a beautiful mess.
Sure.
One of my big problems is that Christians tend to be the biggest, well, the ones I know anyways, tend to be the biggest supporters of war. So I'm trying to point that out a lot too. Like, hey, maybe we're wrong on murdering a bunch of people over there. Like, what do you mean murdering? It's war. It's like, why? We're just blowing up people in countries you've never even heard of for no reason. That's helping Al-Qaeda.
Yeah. Oh, God. Helping Al-Qaeda
the people that we're supposed to be fighting.
We send them guns to shoot at each other. That's really all it is.
That was really my turning point when I realized that the whole reason we went in the first place, to go fight them, and all of a sudden our government's backing them. It was like, wait a minute. I'm not wrong on being against this.
It's all really, really dumb.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just as dumb here. Like, it's not like domestic policy's any better.
Maybe a little, but, I mean, it's still horrible and evil.
See, that's the thing. I don't really know that it is any better. I think that it's painted over a lot better here, perhaps. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you frankly, in, like, your experience with the hospital, you got lucky. Because some parents don't make it out that easy. Like when we were talking to Jordan, I was telling him a story about a woman who wanted a second opinion and drove from one hospital to another in regards to like a treatment that the first hospital recommended because she wanted a second opinion. They no longer have custody of their child because the first hospital called CPS, and CPS took their child because they wanted a second opinion.
Was this a few years ago?
No, I believe this was in the past couple months.
Okay. Do you remember the one a few years ago?
You could say that. It happens so fucking often that like I hear stories about it all the time, and it's so frustrating.
It was a really big deal at the time, but that was the main one that I've heard of. But yeah, you're not allowed to question them, and they get really upset if you do.
So it's like, yeah, sure, they may not put a bullet in your head, but they'll take your kids, and I don't know which of those two I'd really rather have.
Right? Yeah. You're not taking my kids. Libertarian memes for neoliberal teens. You can.
I can't even say. I will give it to him. There is no other person online that really makes my blood boil like that guy does.
Yeah.
Like just the most awful things you could possibly say. Like as you can see, I'm a very racist person. I get accused of it pretty frequently.
That's the first thought I had when you guys turned on your video and I saw both of you.
Just like, geez, what is this?
Well, it's part of that whole Mises Caucus thing and being involved with those guys. When it was hilarious. Like I just love posting on all of our like when we'll have pictures with our significant others. I think most of us date people of minority status. It's like, all those Mises people, they're bigots and stuff. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan's wife is I might get it wrong, but I think she's Filipino.
Me and him talked about it because I questioned. I think I had some questions about that.
My wife is very German.
Oh man, I miss Germany.
She's not from Germany. Germany.
She lived there while her parents were in the service.
Okay.
So
I've never. I guess I was at the airport there one time. But
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right on.
you were. I mean, you went to like school there or something, like daycare.
I did. I had a couple nannies, and I did ballet there.
Okay.
Which was very different than ballet here.
But you were there in a time period that you can no longer give blood. That's what we remember.
Yeah, there's that. Because they might have given all those troops mad cow disease. Because our government cares. Whatever. You might just go crazy later.
It would explain.
Fine.
It would explain a few things for sure.
Oh, thanks.
I love you, baby, but
Okay, all right.
Just saying.
There's just something about cheating songs or the ones about broken hearts. Desperados on the open range or tales from a smoky bar. They say the music's moving on, and I think that sounds fine. But they can get the hell out of our way, 'cause boys, now it's our time. Time to shine. We like Hank, we like the Hag, we like...
Well, should we do
I don't know.
that thing? Plugs.
What thing?
Plugs, I guess.
I wasn't prepared for anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't add I think you were the last person before I added the. What's a song that you want to talk about?
Oh, okay. Should we talk about a song? What's a song that
He
you
doesn't.
like?
No, he's the last person before I added it. When you sign up for the interview, I point blank ask the question, "What's a song you want us to talk about?"
I see. Like a song that you like, or just a song in general?
Specifically, like we used to do when we used to talk about lyrics.
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff.
right.
You know any good songs that like?
Because
you
it was
think-
a music podcast.
Yeah, dude. When this thing first started out, like, oh my god, it was just nothing but a barrage of music questions. And then I realized like some libertarians really don't care about music at all. And I said, but if you want to go listen to some entertaining stuff, go listen to our episode of Bob Murphy from
That
way back
was
in the day.
way entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Bob's a big music buff, and so we got to actually have a great music conversation with Bob. He's really into like musical theater and stuff too, which is hilarious.
He seems like that kind of guy.
He does.
So my kids love like heavier music.
Oh, right on.
No, when my son was a baby, like a baby, my wife would try to listen to country and he'd be screaming and crying, and I'd turn it off and I'd put on something heavier, and then he'd just be happy. He'd stop.
And so while your
Nice.
kid does that, my kid is an EDM kid.
She, as always.
Throw on some Goldfish, and she's happy as a clam.
Party.
Anything else, she just puts her hands on her ears like this.
What are you going to do?
I mean, she doesn't like noise in general.
Buy her some glow sticks.
Like, you can't run the vacuum cleaner without her putting her fucking hands on her ears.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
really?
she has tinnitus or something.
No, we like legit bought her those little
I do.
headphones when she was little because it was a thing.
Well, isn't that...
Extra noise doesn't bother that though.
Yeah.
The ringing in your ears.
Because it's always there, right?
Yeah. Sometimes out of nowhere, it'll just start screaming in one ear so bad that it almost throws me off balance. But it doesn't happen that often anymore.
I mean, that
Jeez.
for you, is that probably like having to shoot guns?
I was around a lot of explosives.
Okay, that would make sense.
Like a lot.
My sound reinforcement instructor in college has tinnitus, and he's just like, "Yeah, I just deal with it." Guy still has perfect
The
pitch.
best way to torture me would be put me in a silent room with ear protection
Oh
on.
wow.
I would go insane.
Oh no, dude! Have you ever actually seen like what an actual silent room does? You've never seen like, dude, an actual silent room. You would legit go insane.
Where do you find that?
No, there's a couple colleges that actually have acoustic rooms that can get the actual sound in the room down to basically nothing, and the noises your body make will make you fucking lose your mind. Like people go in there and like 20 seconds, 30 seconds is the most you can do before you just freak the fuck out. Because
I think I could last longer.
no, that's like the
Like, is it silent and dark?
I want to try this. I want to try this.
I'll look it up online.
Oh my god.
It's really, really crazy because you don't realize how much sound is around you at all times. Like you're in my house. you can hear the electrical currents in the walls, and you can hear like the creaks of the boards in the building because of the wind. You hear lots and lots of little shit that's around you. Like the room itself has an ambiance. Like you can hear echoes. There's things in a completely acoustic proof room. There's nothing. The only noise is what comes from inside of you. So like your heartbeat, all of your fucking organs doing the shit your organs do is now no longer blocked out by exterior sounds. And so you start hearing shit that you're not supposed to hear.
I know that I was just talking about how that would be torture for me, but now I really want to try it.
like essentially you can hear your blood pumping and the viscosity in your fucking veins and shit like that. It's
Okay.
It's I maybe like saying it's real short, like probably maybe a little shorter than it is, but the idea being like nobody's a champ in that room. Like you go in and it's maddening.
Fair enough.
I've always wanted to do it myself just to see like what it's like. As somebody who spends a lot of time around sound. And I wonder if maybe you have an advantage because you have tinnitus because there's something.
There'd
I don't know.
at least be something.
Or maybe that.
And the military really messes you up psychologically.
Yeah, he's like, I'm already fucked. Like, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. It might help me in the long run. I don't know. Is there a way to sign up for this?
I'm gonna look it up.
Right. Better if I get paid.
Oh God.
I can last 5 minutes.
Well, dude, the other thing is like if you look in the room, like it's all these fucking like triangle formations of like, you know, like 2 and 3 foot foam spikes in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just it's a treated room that's designed to, I can't remember, it's some crazy decibel level, like in the negatives, I think, where it gets volume down to.
I wonder if you can last longer if you do mushrooms before you go in there.
Probably.
All right, I'm sorry. I've got to know now.
Well, I mean, all that stuff's supposed to be kind of good for getting you straightened out if you've got, you know, stuff going on. Psychological issues anyway, right? So.
Yeah.
This could turn out really well for me.
There you go. could clear all that right up.
Oh, it's in Minneapolis.
Oh, snap.
I'm there quite often.
Let's see here.
Minneapolis is directly in the center of my home up north in northern Minnesota, and where like Jordan and Jake live.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I was definitely wrong on the time. It's longer than that.
Yeah. Not too long.
The headline is Earth's quietest place will drive you crazy in 45 minutes.
45 minutes, okay.
It's inside the room. It's so quiet that the background noise measured is in negative decibels.
Wow.
Negative 9.4. One person stay.
I'm gonna have to look into this.
I know, right?
But the room isn't just for torturing people. NASA apparently tests stuff in there.
Okay.
And I guess that's why they do it. To help they use it to help attune astronauts to space.
Ah, the vacuum of space.
Where you no longer hear things up there. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, dude. We'll have to put a link in the show notes.
Yeah,
if
for
real. But just the idea of like something that quiet is pretty bonkers. Because I can't think of a time when I've never heard nothing.
Right. Especially since my ears ring 100% of the time.
And I mean, even when you're deaf, like there's something. Because like, you know, Mozart used to do the vibrations thing and feel the sound.
Yeah.
But I don't even think you can feel sound in there because it's just, there's nothing. There's no reflections to bounce noise off of you.
Right.
Dead room. People are weird, man.
People are weird.
So how do you even create a room like that?
I mean, it's just acoustic. It's acoustic treatment. Like you can probably do it in your house if you had enough fucking stuff to do it. But you need to really know your math on it. The idea is like you have to have surfaces reflecting in certain ways, and you need to have know all your depths of foam. Because I mean, do you know how noise cancellation works?
No, I have no idea.
Noise. It's a really interesting technology, and you know who kind of created noise cancellation was created specifically for planes. So you could sit in a cockpit on one of those, big engine prop planes. And essentially what it does is it listens to the wave pattern put off by whatever's making the noise that you want to go away.
Mm-hmm.
It flips it, plays it in reverse. Or not in reverse, but flips it and plays it equal amplitude back into the system. And essentially, you put something, it's 180 degrees out of phase to the original sound is what it is.
Okay.
And so...
Like I'm seeing waves in my head as you're saying this.
What you're actually doing is listening to two equally loud things fighting each other. When they fight each other, they
cancel each other out.
Yes, they cause the sound to.
You don't hear anything.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's pretty bonkers.
Technically, there's more sound in the room, but it counteracts itself and causes the wave to stand still.
So what does that do to your ears? Is that like double damage? Or?
Well, I mean, I think that was one of the things when they first did it they were concerned about. But the idea being, the way that the waves work is they just cancel each other out. So like, they stop the movement. What your ear hears is the movement, but when the waves fight each other, they stop the movement.
Okay, so your ears don't actually get anything.
Yeah, your ears don't actually vibrate because they cause the air to stop moving at the same rate.
There you go, technology with the science.
Yeah, I'm sorry, acoustics is incredibly interesting, folks.
It is all very interesting. And see, that is the learning instinct that we're trying not to beat out of our kids.
Good Lord, are we trying not to beat out of our kid?
They beat out the creativity, and that's what bothers me a lot too.
Do you listen to the School Sucks podcast at all?
Occasionally, yep. Not every episode, but they put out a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah,
Brett has done a lot of really good work. I do listen to every episode. And in fact, I think I'm a subscriber because of their the Discomfort Zone Patreon material. Because it's him and his buddy who's about our age, who he just talks to about life and shit, and like trying to get their shit together.
Yeah, that is important,
right?
Especially when you have like a kid. Like at some point, like I've got to have life work out for her.
You gotta at least try, right?
I gotta try.
Yeah.
So anyways, as we were getting to, I feel like we have taken up enough of this Joker's time.
You call me a redneck?
I know,
Joker.
right? What the heck? This is gentleman's time.
Look, Liz, I'm here to be the asshole. You're the nice one.
Oh, okay.
That's people asking for more Liz.
Sure they are.
I'm trying to force you into a spot by being a prick.
Okay.
You've got to talk more to stop me from being an asshole.
That's how that works. Okay, right on.
Is that how you got comfortable with it? You're like, man, I just need to start talking so he quits being such a dick to everybody.
Not at all.
No, honestly, us off mic is the same as us on mic. So it's just our dynamic is what it is.
Both of you guys are great.
I'm just a sarcastic guy. That's all it is.
Yeah. I find it amusing in most cases. So I just know that not everybody.
I
don't expect everyone to find it amusing. So
really,
we've had some bad interviews.
I love it. So, do you guys get criticized for that?
No, we've just had some interviews that have gone really poorly because you could tell the person on the other end was just like, you know what, I'm done with this.
Really,
you know who is not like that? Fucking Monica Perez.
Monica Perez was so down.
She was. If you haven't listened to us in a while, please listen to our last episode. It Sounds Like Liberty. We had Monica on, and she's just ready.
I started listening to that.
You get to the end, I promise you, it's totally worth it.
She's just like, I will sling back whatever you throw at me.
Like I end that in the most awkward way imaginable, and she was just like, "Let's go." It was absolutely amazing.
Sorry, she's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
she's a really cool
your
person.
guys' interview is probably one of the more fun ones I've heard with her too. Is you guys just let her go.
And she showed up and she's like, "You guys are drinking? I didn't know we could have drinks." I was like, "Go make a drink." She's like, "No, I can't."
I mean, drinking's not really our thing.
No.
Otherwise, we'd be probably more into it.
Yeah.
I just never got into it.
I don't have enough happy chemicals in my brain as it is.
Look, I bury my feelings in food, not liquor.
This is true.
It's a very part of the veteran community, honestly, and it's just something everybody does, really.
Well, it's like it's
unfortunately a lot of people have a lot of issues with it.
Well, when you're out, I mean, it's the only thing you can fucking do. Like when you're in, really.
I was either wearing camis or I was drinking.
I'm curious. Do you think that has anything to do with like how they depersonalize you guys when you're in?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, is that just the natural recourse to, hey, they just stripped away my personality and this is all I got? What's at the bottom of this bottle?
No, my company was actually for military talk. You know, it was a very good company. Like my gunny called me by my first name.
Okay.
A lot of the time, you know, so we were very tight, and it wasn't. We were in a weapons company, so it was kind of through infantry school. It's not 100%, but a lot of the guys who are in better shape and or smarter go to weapons company, so it's a little more relaxed.
Okay.
Than the normal line companies. But I would say when you're getting ready to go to a conflict and they're just drilling your head, we're going to kill, kill, kill. Drinking's really the only option to deal with a lot of that. You know, can't do any other drug without getting kicked out.
Well, that was my point. It's like they just put you in a situation where that's the only thing that's okay.
Yeah.
Where you guys probably should be doing mushrooms.
Probably.
I mean, the science is there saying you should probably be doing mushrooms. Maybe not while handling weapons, but...
Okay.
I've never done mushrooms.
I've tried. They've never worked. I really liked acid, though.
I just assumed that your brain was already on that level, so you needed something else.
I accidentally took ecstasy one time.
Okay.
It wasn't intentional, but it happened.
Was it a good time or not such a good time?
Oh, I loved it.
Okay, right on.
I didn't mean to do it. I'll never do it again, but I loved it.
Okay. Just curious.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I don't do psychedelics as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
Ooh, I enjoyed it. 14 hours, man. Just checked right out.
I'm going to be honest. I really like control. As much as I am crappy at boundaries and control in my life in general, I like having it more than
Liz,
I would want the buzz.
You say that, and I'm right there with you, but there's a reason they use it in all of the therapies that they're doing with veterans.
Well, yes, that's true.
Like, it unlocks something inside of you. That's the point.
Okay.
Like that neurotic bullshit that you carry around with you. No, just fucking... Fuck is this bullshit?
Okay.
Let's go hang out with the dragons.
The military will take out your emotions and your feelings 100%. You'll just be dead inside.
I'm well aware.
For a long time. It was about 6 years before I realized it was okay to have feelings.
I dated a girl who did 3 tours. She had issues.
Yeah.
One of them.
I imagine.
One of them was like having been plugged by a lot of big cocks in the military, but you know.
Okay. Is that an issue?
Well, it was when you have a small dick, but
Oh, okay. Fair enough. You know what? I'm sorry I asked, but okay. Now I know.
I never really worked with women over there. I did for a few weeks, but I mean, that is a huge thing that happens, especially, I want to say like the Air Force and the Navy. But
and I will say, she's not an ugly girl.
Okay, well,
so fair. I'm assuming she had the pick of whatever she wanted wherever she was.
Wasn't that the old White Christmas? All you have to do is pick the age, the weight, the size.
I guess.
Gee, I wish I was. Well, anyways.
But yeah, she had issues, and
yeah, I believe that.
You know, like basically, it was only good if like we were like really violent with each other, which isn't really my thing. I mean, it was kind of fun, like knowing that she could kill me.
It was until she hurt you too bad.
No, that's the best part about it. Like knowing that someone could kill you, and you know they don't. It really, really ups the intensity.
Fair enough.
So
yeah.
Is this gonna be my thing? Just
apparently just take it someplace weird.
Try and end every episode in a weird sexual place. See how uncomfortable my guests can get.
Oh God, you're not even telling the same.
Try a little harder.
You're not even telling the same stories. That's the impressive part.
Look, I will stand by the fact that I'm a deviant, and I'm completely okay with that.
Well, there you go.
It's it has been very entertaining that the people I fell into, kind of within the libertarian community, were like all Catholics.
Very conservative Catholic.
Yeah, real conservative folk, and I'm like, huh, not me. Don't know how well this is gonna work, but we're all good until you come for my orgies. So,
is that what's happening back there? The wall keeps shaking a little bit.
That's probably the cat. He likes to climb it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the cat climbs. Those are actually like either full collapsible walls. I made them out of carpet to help with the sound. All right. Well, like I said, we've taken up enough of this dude's time. Why don't you you give us your plugs and tell people where they can check out what you do?
Sure. I got on Twitter, it's @V4Vism, and that's Jake, Jordan, and I all have that on there. I know we didn't talk about Jake very much on here, but he's also a great dude.
He's the not anarchist run,
brother.
Right?
Yes, he is the minarcho Jacob. We actually grew up across the woods from each other, so we've known each other for a long time. But I'm also at anarcho_Odin, and then you can find us on Stitcher and iTunes, and we have a few things on YouTube, but we'll be working on that more.
How do you spell Odin? I'm curious.
Odin, like the Viking god.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's my middle name,
dude.
So my son's middle name is Thor.
That is awesome.
And it gets mad if you try to call him Jackson. He's like, no, my name is Thor.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'd go by Thor too. You kidding me?
I was not allowed to use the name that I wanted to for my daughter.
I was just going by I was just watching Ragnarok. Wait, which name was this?
Endoplasmic reticulum.
Gee, wonder why.
I'm sorry. That would have been a cool name.
Right?
She's Irma.
We also try to help guys like us. So if anybody's listening that's a veteran, you can get a hold of us at vetsforvoluntarism@gmail.com, and we have some connections with different programs for guys who are struggling. And the 4 is always the number 4.
Okay, cool. That was gonna be my next question.
V for V, baby.
And Veterans for Voluntarism on Facebook. However, we found that that's not as useful, but we're still on there.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Good stuff, man.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on today, boss,
thanks,
and giving us so much of your time. It was fun.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
It was great.
I know it's a weird show, but we do our thing.
You guys are weird people.
That's the point. That's why Freqs is in the name of the show.
We were just telling you right off the bat. But yeah, it was awesome.
I actually literally went and got Peace Freqs, like the way we spell it. I also have it the other way too, just in case someone goes and looks up Peace Freqs spelled actual freaks. That's me too.
There you go.
It all ends up the same place.
Makes it easier to find you.
All right, we're gonna let you go. Thanks for joining us.
All right, guys. You're
Take it easy, boss.
See ya.
And humans as fragile as the dawn, sing a requiem. Don't tell me everything's alright. You're streaming poison when we sleep at night. Don't tell me that there ain't no cure. You're killing off the sick and the old and poor. Everybody's out to take control, but I won't go anymore.
All right, babe. So, what do you think? Fun interview?
That was delightful. I did not know that was where that was going to go, but it went there.
I like to make things weird, and I like to make them go interesting places.
Yes, you do. And that's okay.
I don't know if it's okay, but it's what I'm going to do one way or the other.
No, I think it made for a good time.
I'll take your word for it. So, once again, folks, if you want to help out the show, stop on over to peacefreaks.com. If you want to send us money, you can go to upgradetheshow.com, where we can pour some money into this. Maybe someday we'll actually be able to pay off our own podcasting bills.
Yeah, and do check out the Veterans for Voluntarism. Find them on
everywhere you can find
on
stuff.
all the things. It'll all be in the show notes. You can find that on the Peace Freqs site. So yeah,
that you can. So without further ado, let's kiss them off, ladies. Boom, they go. There's the dynamite.
Okay, make it magical, people. Bye.
This podcast is a proud creation of the Mad Audio Lab. For more information, check out madaudiolab.com. Peace Freqs is part of the Liberty Hippie Podcast Network. If you like what we do, be sure to check out Homesteads and Homeschools, Free Markets Green Earth, Cannabis Heals Me, and This Week in Liberpods. We're living proof that libertarian doesn't mean washed up Republican.